when you're on stage and you're performing and you hit the button that turns the people on, is like magic.
Oh, absolutely. There's no there. You chase that high forever. You hit it. You get it once, and you're chasing it for the rest of your life.
It's amazing.
Oh yeah.
It's amazing, and it lives forever.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's something that you can't necessarily grab and hang on to, but you have to hang on to it because it comes very infrequently.
Hey, so want to talk about your performing days, okay? Your days when you're performing.
Oh, that's 100 years ago.
I know, right? Right. I've always wanted to know. Did you have like a favorite song or performance that you like to do?
Oh, it's been so many years. I don't remember. I can't just push a button and bring it up. But there were certain things I like to do a lot.
You and I, one of my first memories is doing songs from Fiddler, especially when you were with the high notes, you know, doing like songs like If I Were a Rich Man and A Matchmaker.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that?
Yep.
Yeah. Did you enjoy that? Did you enjoy the high notes? You, Ruth, and Don?
Everything that I did was based on the level of enjoyment that I gained out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do anything necessarily for money, but I didn't walk away from the money. All I did was, you know, maybe my brain worked differently, but I just never could grasp the reason somebody would want something that I would be doing on stage to take home.
When you were starting out singing, who did you look to as your inspirations as singers?
That's a tough question.
Yeah, I know.
Tough question. Well, I looked at two people.
Okay.
And you're not going to like the answer either you want to. But I looked at two people, and they for totally different reasons. I looked at Frank Sinatra.
Sure, I love Frank.
Because of the attitude that he brought to his music. And the other one that I always looked between Sinatra and Perry Como.
Perry Como.
And they always brought to the game a little different perspective of what the song was trying to do.
Those are two very distinctly different performers.
I know.
Yeah.
And the thing is that with Sinatra, he was a different era. And he had to make his own waves to get what he wanted to get. But in later years, things changed, and people started to understand, well, now I understand why he was doing that, and now I understand why he was doing that, but they didn't catch it when it was being done.
Well, when you started listening to Sinatra, he was with the Tommy Dorsey band, right? Wasn't he a singer with Dorsey for a long time? And Perry Como was a crooner. He was like this.
He's a crooner.
Yeah, right? he was like this easy. Oh,
yeah, he was a Bing Crosby guy.
Yeah, Bing Crosby. Yeah, that's a good example. But he was very low key, whereas Sinatra was very, in many ways, bombastic. He was very. He was very loud. He wasn't. He was in front of the music. His voice was in front of the music, whereas Perry Como was like either even or like the music came first, or the instruments or whatever, and then you heard his voice. Whereas Sinatra, you heard his voice, and then there's music in the background. He was like in front. That's how I always thought about Sinatra. Like Dean Martin, for example. I love Dean. Dean always was in the music. He was never in front of it. But Sammy Davis Jr., for example, was in front of the music. The music was making him look better. He wasn't making the music look better because he was in front of it. I thought Sinatra early on, he was in front of the music. He overshadowed, in a good way, the music. His voice was just so powerful.
I think all those things you said are true.
Do you think that people in the audience understand the amount of time and effort it takes to put on a good show?
Zero.
Zero. Yeah.
Zero. There is no, first of all, understand is the worst term because they're not there to understand. They're there to be
Entertained.
entertained. The thing is, entertainment, it's like a drop of water going into a glass. Once done, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to book myself in places that I knew were difficult,
Right.
very difficult.
I did that.
And
I didn't know that about you. I did not know that. I do that. I purposely book myself into a tough environment to see if I can do it.
Yeah, well, it's more than seeing if you can do that, is finding new routines that create the opening door that you're always searching for the opening door. And the bottom line is that entertaining today is dramatically different because it's a very, very different kind of work. And I'm not sure it gets the respect that it's supposed to get, and nor will ever get respect.
You got me into this business, whether you want to own it or not, just because you were such a force when I was growing up. You were you were everywhere. You know, you're singing, you're performing. You were the center of attention, and I followed in your footsteps, but I went comedy instead of singing. Were you worried or concerned? Did you ever think about trying to dissuade me from getting into this field?
No.
No. So you're okay that
Absolutely.
after everything you said about stay away from show business, it's a tough life. It's really, really hard. When I was 18 years old, because I left home when I was 18. You know, I left home for different reasons, but I left home when I was 18, and I immediately went into performing. And you weren't like, oh no. You were like, no. You were okay with that?
Number one, I didn't know that until just now. And number two, I didn't. There's levels of acceptance that we all achieve at certain times in our life, and there's certain things that we do to get accepted that we wouldn't dream of doing today. It's just it doesn't work like that anymore. And bottom line is that I found it. I did some shows in the Borscht Belt and in the mountains, and
Yeah, up at the Nevele and stuff
yeah,
like that.
I did those shows, and I would tell you something. I guess there's something to this truth that you can't take away something that you think is yours because you do it. It's a different ownership. The whole content of entertaining, as what we were doing, it was booking, paid, booking.
That's not changed. It's still, to this day, it's booking, paid. You know, it's the grind. See, that's the part of the business that is not really discussed. And I don't know how much it was discussed when you were starting out, but it's not really discussed about just how hard and how time consuming it is to get one booking. Just get one booking. The hoops you have to jump through, the emails and the phone calls and the text messages, you know.
What's the solution?
I don't have it.
Neither.
I'm not smart enough to answer that question.
Well, I'm glad that we got to this point in the conversation because I have to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
Honey, you have to relieve me from David.
We're done. I love you.
I have to.
I love you.
Thank you, baby. You're the best.
You are.